Hello, welcome back to another episode of Investigative Journalism with your host, uh, Barry Numbers. Today we're looking into the um, strange incidents uh, with Caden's massive amount of experience in the Probot experience system for this server. Now, how this all works is that whenever you chat, you gain experience. And specifically, we want to look at the chatting experience. You see, Caden is level 2, and Caden has about 1300 experience, which is kind of a big amount, you know? It's kind of a large amount. However, you must think that he must be a very dedicated member of the server, spending many hours chatting and hanging out with other people. But you see, I have come to make the claim that this is in fact a lie. You see, if we search from winter okay, I guess this won't work. Anyway, I've already done all the math off camera, but we'll see that Caden has a significant lack of messages compared to everyone else. So there's a few reasons behind this, but we know that there's a few reasons this could be. Okay, whatever, it doesn't matter. Caden's guilty. Let's just talk about the numbers. So what we're going to look at is, well, first you have to understand the channel experience reward system. So basically, it's a state secret. You know, it's very hard to figure out how it was, but and the developers keep it super secret. But basically, every minute, if you have been chatting during that minute, it doesn't matter how many messages you sent, just at least one message, you get a random amount of XP. The amount of XP doesn't actually matter that much. If I had to guess, it's between like 5 and 10. It might be custom per server. It does not actually matter that much, as long as it's consistent and doesn't change. So that's how that works. Now, what we have is from like 6 months ago, almost 6 months exactly, give or take a week, we have, here is the experience levels for that. Now, Caden and Ivy were neck and neck, as you can see. They had almost exactly the same amount of XP. But let's go take a look at. But then I was like, okay, but Caden does not chat nearly as much. So I saved all the data from all the servers, all the channels that were publicly accessible, using the power of Zach Oxmal, the little gremlin boy, who coincidentally also joined that day. But yeah, I used the power of him in order to get all the data from all the things, and now we can see that Winter Chaos in general chat, we can just do Control F. It's not the most scientific, but it works, and it for the most part avoids pings. And we can Control F for the username, and we get that Caden has 176 messages in general chat. So like, okay, that's fine. And then we look at Ivy, who used to have the username no name, and we're like, 1,037 messages. That's a little bit more than Caden's. I mean, that's kind of weird, but okay. That doesn't explain it because there's a bunch of other channels, so we can open them all up and we can do the math on all of them. But long story short, I did do the math on all of them, and we come up with so Ivy had 1,776 messages, and Caden had 312 messages in total. Now this is excluding the bot channels because those aren't supposed to be able to give XP. There's like some more knowledge I can explain later about that, but it doesn't really matter. So now just as a reminder, so Ivy had let's do the math. A lot more. Ivy had almost 5 times the amount of messages that Caden had, which is a little bit weird, but okay. And somehow Caden had slightly more experience than Ivy, which is a little weird, but okay. Now there is one possible explanation for this. One possible beyond Caden somehow forging the numbers. And this is all 6 months ago, by the way. We can look at that. So you remember the experience reward system where it doesn't matter how many messages you send in a minute. It's just as long as you send a message a minute, it'll do the thingy, a bobber. So if we look at, so we have to determine, about how many messages per minute are sent. So like, okay, you can just browse through the data, and you can see that it's approximately, 2 messages a minute. So like, there's 3 messages in the same minute right here. There's 1 message in 1 minute right here. There's 1 message in 1 minute right here. There's 1 message or 2 messages in 1 minute right here. There's 3 messages in 1 minute right here. And it varies, but roughly it's about that much. It's kind of a lot of data. Or like, 1 message, 1 minute. Now, a lot of the time, messages are all on their own. So yeah, roughly it's that. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. If we do the same for Caden, let's see. It's like, okay, here we go. Oh, 3 messages the same minute, 1 message in a minute. 1 message in a minute, 1 message in a minute, 2 messages in a minute, 3 messages in a minute. But yeah, okay. So we have all that good stuff. Let's just give Caden the benefit of doubt and say that every single message has been in its own minute, which means I haven't even done the math on that. So divided by 60. So that'd be 5.2 hours spent just chatting, which I guess is reasonable. In general chat alone. All right, yeah, I get this is all 6 months ago still. So yeah. So that's a little weird, but I didn't think Caden was necessarily cheating because of the whole experience per second, and I didn't feel like double checking that. However, there is one suspicious thing in that if you use some dubious methods of acquiring the server list, channel list, you can see that there's all the normal channels, all the ones that Zach Oxmal doesn't have access to, like Bottex 2 or Phasmophobia or all that stuff. But also, there are 2 interesting channels. Or no, there's 1 interesting channel and there's some other stuff too. That doesn't matter that much. But yeah, we have Spam Void 1 hour. So, from an anonymous source, it's been figured out that channel is for spamming, as is implied by the name. And if I had to guess, it would be for every 1 hour. But you can just spam in it. Which let's go take a look at the rules. The rule 2 is no obsessive spamming, so that's funny. But okay, so that's that. And also, okay. But yeah, so also from an anonymous source, we know that that channel is for spamming. And also, yeah, and also it came straight from the head honcho. It says that you can spam in that place. Right there. That's the only place it's allowed. Okay, so that's all that. Now let's take a look at in the modern day. You know how it is. I'm not going to go through the whole process of determining the amount of messages in it. But here are the experience leaderboards. So it's still actually surprisingly neck and neck. And let me read out how many messages there are. So Ivy has 3,341 messages, and if we do that by 1 every 2 minutes, or 2 per minute, which is not, it's close enough to accurate, you get that many messages, or that many minutes which you're gaining XP. 1,670.5. Now, Caden has 526 messages, which is a lot less. That's 6 times less. But then if we do the if we get the actual number, that's if we get the benefit of the doubt number, which is 16.70 or 1670. My 526. So Caden has almost 3 times the weighted bonus of XP as compared to Ivy. 3 times the amount. Now, that's very suspicious, considering this new data is still implies a lot of cheating. Yet, however, when he was called out, was called out here. He fixed it several months ago in his not cheating. In the last 5 months. So 6 months to 5 months. I mean, it's kind of weird. It's kind of suspicious. That's where you put in that suspicious sound. But yeah, I've only gone up 3 levels in the last 5 months. I fixed that several months ago. And this is all with giving Caden the benefit of the doubt. Now, also the anonymous source that says that channel was removed from them some time ago. I don't actually know exactly, but I guess we can figure that out at some point. So yeah, further investigation is needed, but it's all extremely suspicious and will likely lead to or no, there isn't really anything I can do. It will lead to mild judgment, because it's kind of weird. Yeah. Oh, okay, I guess I can talk about the other caveat, is that for a very small amount of time, you could chat in the bot channel and get experience for it, but I'm going to ignore that because I don't feel like calculating that, and it'll benefit Caden more to an extent. So this is just giving Caden more of the benefit of the doubt. Okay, this has been Barry, the Investigative Journal. Thanks for coming back to another episode, and I'll see you guys around. Remember to smash the like button and to subscribe and to say what you think is the color of